Hey, what's up guys? It's Sam Choate. I'm here today getting ready to record some guitar for a song of mine called Shame. This is a song that I wrote about 6 years ago. That's crazy to think about. I've recorded it previously with a band called Dick's Hat Band, and the guys added some really cool stuff and we made it our own thing with the help of those guys, and that was a really awesome experience. Since then I have rewritten it again, so this is kind of the third iteration. First it was slow and depressing, then it was medium tempo and feel good. Now it's like, now it feels more like me. It's very balls to the wall rock, and definitely got some modern rock influences from obviously Foo Fighters, and God, what is that other band? They sing, I don't know, think Foo Fighters and then like post-hardcore stuff like the Wonder Years, early stuff from Finch. By that I mean like the album, the one album, and for most of you guys out there. And as well as, God, what is that freaking band called? The Gaslight Anthem. Yeah. Yes. Alright, don't sue me, The Gaslight Anthem, for using your song on my video. I only used like 15 seconds, and we all know that good rock bands can use exposure. Onwards. So I'm rewriting this song. Today I'm going to show you what I have currently, as well as how I'm going to get a really badass rock guitar tone today. I've already got some really astoundingly good sounding rhythm guitars. I'll show you real quick. Oh, I've got pre-roll on. Remember guys, turn pre-roll off. Remember guys, turn your monitors up. So, I've got some great sounding rhythm guitars already recorded, and the way that I got those essentially was by turning up my tube amp. Step 1, own a tube amp. Step 2, learn to play the guitar. And that's basically it. No, but really, so take your tube amp, set it on the edge of breakup. That means, you know, no pedals or anything on. And, you know, you're still clean and articulate. There's that word again. I can't get away from it. But you're right on the edge of distortion. For me, I played through a Fender Deluxe Reverb. It's a 65 reissue. It's like 4.2, between 4 and 5. And you get an astoundingly good tone, which I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear how awesome this is and how loud it is, because it's really loud. I'm in a small room. It's really loud. So you can hear it's still clean. So it's still very clean. All right, great job. You've got a really loud amp. Now what? Okay, well, that means you're going to be pushing a lot of air, which is what makes a guitar tone in the studio sound good. It's going to make it sound more powerful. When you're pushing low volume and barely anything, that's why it sounds weak and thin, is because physically in the real world it's weak and thin, and so that's what you're recording. And I'm sorry, but no amount of processing afterwards is going to help that. It will be weak and thin. You can't polish a turd. So turn your amp up, wait till everybody goes to work or whatever like I do. It's currently like 2:45 in the afternoon. I'm in Gladewater, Texas, so can't get any more remote than this. Then what you're gonna want to do is hit the front of your amp with a nice transparent or so overdrive. My weapon of choice is the J-Rocket Archer Icon. It's the gold one. I actually owned both before I sold, well, traded my silver one to this guy, Drew Seipert, for a bike, actually, which was a great trade. But I A-B'd them, and that was actually a really cool thing to do. I actually A-B'd them on this song, playing this riff that I'm going to play. And I ended up personally liking the gold one with my rig better. Drew plays a Vox, and the silver one was an upgrade, pure and simple for him. And so he grabbed that from me, and they're both great pedals. I prefer the gold one for my rig with the deluxe reverb and most of the guitars that I play. This guitar, by the way, is really special. It is a silly looking metal guitar. It's a Schecter Diamond Series Hellraiser. It was a Hellraiser. It's the Tempest body style or whatever. It used to have really terrible sounding EMG pickups in it. Not all EMGs are terrible. Don't freaking, don't grab your pitchforks. But they were the coil tappable ones, and maybe they've gotten better since then, but they were awful in this guitar. So I took them out, threw them in the trash and set the trash can on fire, and then put in a Seymour Duncan Pearly Gates and a Seymour Duncan something else I don't remember in the bridge, but it's very hot. And then coil split both, so I've still got that ability on this guitar. So now my incredibly awesome sounding rhythm tone with this guitar. So the guitar plus the amp on the edge of breakup plus a good sounding overdrive pedal in front of it. Just don't buy cheap crap, that's it. A great sounding overdrive in front of it, we get something like this. This is really loud. So it's really awesome, a little bit bright. You can check your mic placement with that and move it where you want. This, since I'm doing the riff of the song, I've already got my rhythm tracks laid down. This is gonna be a more in your face, like lead part, sort of. It's not like a tweedly deedly dee lead part. It's sort of well, it goes like this. Rinse and repeat. So it's very notey, and it has some chords in there. It cleans up so nice. So it's really awesome to have the clarity that I have in this rig, the nice clean of the Fender, and then just hitting the front end slightly with my overdrive, which is very, very touch sensitive. You'll notice a second ago, like, I can still get clean with this thing. And then I can get gnarly with it, which I love. And that is the Strymon El Capistan, which is a fantastic pedal. I will never get rid of that thing. God, I love it. Seriously, you can have an incredible, drop my pick, you can have an incredible tone with a good set of fingers on your body, a clean, nice, normal, nothing fancy, like, just get an overdrive pedal. Just spend, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but don't Dude, buy a Soul Food. Who cares? Buy a Soul Food and change out the terrible clicky button on it so that it doesn't make noise. Shout out to Electro Harmonix. And literally my entire rig right now, I have a Boss TU3, I have a Boss DS1 that's modded, I have the Archer Icon, I have the El Capistan, I have a Phase 90 because I tend to get roped into playing a lot of country music. So you can do the... You can do the Waylon Jennings thing. And then I have a boost at the end. I have the Electro Harmonix Nano LPB1, which is awesome. And I imagine you could get a similar tone by hitting the front end with that. Indeed you can. So you don't even have to buy an overdrive. Buy a boost pedal and then set your amp to the edge of breakup and stick that boost in front and you're going to get an amazing sounding overdriven tone. So I currently have one. I love it. It's loud. It sounds powerful. Now, when I am recording this other guitar track like I was talking about in the How to Choose the Right Gear electric guitar video, I've got these great big ol' awesome fat sounding humbucker tones for my rhythm guitars. I'm a big fan of the wide panned stereo rhythm tracks. I think it sounds great for rock music and for just laying down very simple, straightforward, chunky rhythm tracks. Just like play the song in its purest form and get that out of the way, and then you can layer some things on top. So I am going to be switching it up now, and I'm going to be using the split coil tone on the bridge pickup, which sounds really awesome. It's not, it's like a Telecaster's ugly cousin. I have got my amp mic'd up with an SM57, like right on the money, dead center for this. My rhythm tracks I put off kilter just a bit, about halfway between the edge and the center of the speaker, and angled in just slightly. I am a big advocate for mic placement, like especially when you're recording or in a live situation as well. You know, maybe for the rhythm guitar player, you could space it out from the center. You get a slightly darker and less piercing tone. Then for the lead guy who wants to cut a little bit more, place the mic more towards the center of the amp. Just rules of thumb, rules of thumb. Same thing in the studio for your rhythm stuff that you're gonna put in the background that's just sort of beefing it up and laying the foundation. Set it out away from the center of your speaker just a little bit. You're gonna get a smoother and, let's say, darker tone that way, and then it leaves room for you to pierce and cut through with your lead guitar tones by placing those more towards the center of the speaker. Again, rules of thumb, please break them, but also just know them. Let me know if there's something else that you guys like to do and prefer. Now, I have set up a large diaphragm condenser. It's an Audio-Technica 2035 right here in the background, as you can see. And that's number one, because I can. Number two, I happen to have one. And I've got wood floors in a really old house. I'm 24 and have nothing to lose. So I'm gonna see how it sounds if I combine the sound of a very close mic'd Fender Deluxe Reverb with the sound of this small room that I'm in. Because as I was doing the scratch track in here, I was just out in the open, standing exactly where I'm standing right now, and there was a lot of bleed from the guitar amp into the vocals. And I actually really liked the way that it sounded. It sounded really raw and like you were in a small room, because I was. And so I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm going to record a little bit and see if I like this, because it's something that I've got a very close mic source, and then I've got a room mic back here to do this riff with. I think it might be cool. It might not be. It's okay. We're just experimenting. We're going to find a cool sound one way or the other. So let's check it out. So I have recorded both of those tracks simultaneously. I've got the close mic 57 right on the amp, like right on the amp. And then I've got the Audio-Technica up here above my shoulder, picking up some room noise. This is what the Audio-Technica sounds like. So it's a room mic in mono. You know, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I kind of thought it would be cooler, but let's compare it to the close mic. It's got a lot of bite, a ton of it, and it even sounds almost a little too like brittle and harsh, but let's check it within the context of the song. So it actually sounds pretty appropriate to me within the context of the song. I've got rhythm tracks going, my bass, my drums. It's a pretty bare bones mix right at the moment. I actually am enjoying that tone off the amp. Let's pull it back just a little bit. There it is. It's getting there. I'm still not in love with it. But as far as the concept goes, let's check it out with the room mic and see if we can get something that we like. I'm going to start by panning them the same. So they're, wherever I pan one, the other one will go as well. Which, this is probably the closest to what you guys are actually hearing on the iPhone camera right now. I don't have any fancy I/O delivering my recorded signal into the video at the moment, so if you know how to do that and want to tell me how to do it, that would be amazing, because it would sound a lot better. So this is just the dry signal. Now I'm going to start mixing in the room. So I like the effect that it has. It makes it feel a lot more live. And that's what I liked about the original when I was recording the scratch track with electric guitar and vocals only to a click. I really liked the way that it just sounded live and like you were standing there with me while I was performing the song, and I want that on a record. I think that way too many people are so bent on getting like the cleanest, most pristine, perfect sound, and I'm like, dude, it's rock and roll. It's not freaking Tupperware. You're not trying to clean it up and get all the gunk out of it. It's rock and roll. Let it be rock and roll. So like, let some cool stuff happen. So that's kind of cool. I wonder what would happen if we panned them out just a little bit. Rather than doing what I told you I was going to do where I would pan them together, I'm actually going to try panning them out. Got the dry signal panned out to the left 20. I'm going to do the same but to the right with the room sound. Now I do have the room sound turned down quite a bit. I just mixed it into where I could notice it basically. That's actually kind of cool. I'm going to pan it over to the right just a little bit more. Ooh. Alright, let's go extreme now. I'm going to go all the way, well, let's go to like, I said extreme. We're going to be carefully extreme. We're going to go to 70 on the right with the room sound. Bring it up just a little bit in volume. Ooh, yeah. That actually sounds really cool because you've got the dry, clear signal of the guitar coming in off the amp directly into the microphone and into my preamp. And then with the room, it's like I've got this added nuance. There's a bit more depth and time and space added to it, only over to the right. So I've got like, within the stereo spectrum, this riff is taking up like, here's the clear sound just to the left, and then I've got this really interesting just spatial depth to it over to the right. And it adds a lot of character to it, actually. With the dry signal, it's like, there it is. With the room mixed in, it's also reverberating over to the right just a little bit and giving it a lot of character, which is really cool. I'm going to listen to it in the mix. That actually sounds really cool. I like that. I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to tweak it just a little bit and try to get my mic placement and my tone cleaned up just a little bit. It's sounding a bit brittle right now. I'd like some more clarity since I'm playing those chords, but I really like this idea. I think it's cool. It gives the track a much more lively feel than just... quick tip, to get a nice tight rhythm sound, grab a comforter, grab your mom's bed sheets, grab an old rusty bucket. No, just kidding, don't do that. Grab a bunch of blankets, build you a pillow fort up over your amp, and track inside that. You know, keep the blankets away from the amp and the mic as much as possible, but build you like a little hovel around your amp. It'll help stop those early reflections and the high frequencies that right now I'm actually trying to pick up by doing this really crazy miking technique, if you want to call it that. Man, here's the thing. I've studied sound. I am constantly online absorbing information as much as I can. There's a lot of science behind it, and it's really, really awesome to learn about that. But at the end of the day, man, you are making art, and so Make it fun. Learn how to communicate effectively. So like learn the rules, learn how compression and EQ works standardly, if that's a word. And once you've done that, dude, get creative. That's what this is all about. Break some rules. Do something weird, like stomp on the floor for your kick drum sound in a song. Get creative with it, because if you're just limiting yourself to your MacBook and the sounds that you're downloading off the internet, dude, people have already used those sounds. Get something new. Nobody else, as far as I know, has ever recorded a record in this particular bedroom, in this particular house, in this particular town. So this has its own room feel. This has its own sound to the room that nobody else in the world is gonna get. And I think that is missing from so many people that are trying to do the bedroom studio, or that are like me, and they're like, you know what, I can actually get some pretty dope sounds on my own. I don't need to spend thousands of dollars, which is true. But man, like, people are trying to, it's not the 80s. We're not trying to muffle everything and get all the room sound out so that we can add some big gated reverb onto it, except that a lot of people are. Utilize the specific and special and distinct tone that you have around you. Yes, you should know how to communicate that effectively and make it sound good. Make it sound acceptable to people's ears. Make it sound within the spectrum of what people call music, and what a good record sounds like. And study that. But at the end of the day, there's that wild card in all of the great records that is the character and the nuance that it has, that you go, man, what did they do there? And it doesn't matter if you buy the same gear, it doesn't matter if you hire the same people, it won't sound that way because there is something special going on, and that special thing exists out in the physical world. So don't deaden it, don't edit it out, take advantage of the environment around you and make it work for you. Don't complain because you're in a tiny room with, oh, you've got windows on this wall but not on that wall, and you've got, you know, whatever. Dude, that's actually cool because nobody else has the room that you do. Just learn to use it. Even in acoustically great rooms, you still have to know what you're doing. So just use what you can around you to get cool sounds. I can't stress that enough. And if it sounds terrible, that's fine. Like, tweak it, work on it, keep working on it. That's okay. Just like, don't be afraid to do something weird because it might sound cool. And just do it. Just Shia LaBeouf it and do it. All right, that's the end of the rant for today. This is the tone that I'm getting with my rig today. Go away, Apple software. I'm trying to get something different. I'm trying to get something that stands out and sounds lively and cool. If you're trying to get a nice, tight, and more focused rhythm guitar sound, that's cool too. That's a separate video in and of itself. Don't forget, guys, also hit the like button down below if you like it, and hit the subscribe and the little bell icon next to it, because that will notify you when I release a new video. I will keep on showing you how to make cool sounds out of your small room, and you keep on watching them.